Let me start with something that should send a chill down the spine of every Nigerian who genuinely believes in the future of this country. A powerful insider and political commentator has come out publicly to say something that most people in Abuja's corridors of power have been whispering behind closed doors.
Okay, my wonderful people, viewers and subscribers, say another information does drop now, and also our reaction to videos na top notch. Don't forget it. Na me, Okude Daily Talk, bring this information to you. Okay, OHANAEZE and Igbo don't make a shocking confession. In fact, they said Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the true leader that they have been looking for. As a matter of fact, they don't tell their current President General of OHANAEZE and OHANAEZE and Igbo by name Azot Ambata, say, I beg you, they don't carry hand. They don't carry hand. Draw two of his ears, say, make you step down because the original person where go occupies this city, say, on the way coming. Maybe the OHANAEZE and Igbo don't know, say, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, OHANAEZE and Dara safe. Anyway, let me put it that way. They don't know, say, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is coming out because, as I'm talking to you now, the resolution have been passed. The International Court of Justice don't rule, say, the rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, say, it is totally wrong, go, say, they are not part of it. They said, if Nigeria not reverse that sentence on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Nigeria is going to face a severe sanction that even in 50 years to come, what Iran passed through in the sanction they gave to them up to today is what Nigeria is going to experience. And look at common ordinary war that are happening in the Middle East. Nigeria economy don't collapse. People will get crude oil in a large quantity and also natural gas in a large quantity. Now the so-called what will I call it, old haggard, let me not use hard word because of public edition. They don't come out now, begin they give excuse. Now what West Side the other day? West Side just only 2 weeks now. He don't give excuse of all his failures back 3 years ago. You can imagine that. So Nnamdi Kanu is coming out. OHANAEZE and Igbo, they don't make shocking confession, say they are not part of Nigeria again. Say their true leader and president is Dr. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Ohamadike one of Igbo land. Let me not waste much of your time. I would like you to listen to this message from another source so that you understand what I'm telling you. Our reaction na top notch. Please make sure that this message goes viral. Share it as many times as possible. Also say kudos to YouTube for giving us this platform so that we'll be sharing information to you on a platter of gold. So please, let us listen to this our brother Clement Ikeru inspiration. Abi Ikeku. We're gonna see Nemo. I beg, make on a listen, and then we will come back here for more discussion. There's a room for interjection, oh, don't forget.
For years, he said it plainly, he said it boldly, and he said it with the kind of conviction that suggests he was not bluffing. His claim that OHANAEZE and Igbo and a growing number of Igbo groups are no longer just frustrated, they are done. They are questioning their very place inside the Nigerian project, and if that alone does not shake you awake, then wait until you hear the rest of what he revealed, because it gets even heavier from there. He disclosed that within certain Igbo circles, there is now a confirmed position that if Biafra ever becomes a reality, Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, would be their president. Not a suggestion, not a fantasy, a declared position. And beyond that, he went further to confess something that many Nigerians have long feared, but few officials have dared to say out loud. That a significant portion of Igbo leadership and Igbo people no longer see themselves as part of Nigeria. Let that sink in for a moment. Now, all of this did not come out of nowhere. It is not random. It is directly connected to a chain of events that began with President Bola Tinubu's recent visit to the United Kingdom, where he personally met with King Charles III and reportedly entered into a controversial agreement with the British government. That visit, which many people assumed was routine diplomacy, has now become the center of a political storm that is shaking the southeast of Nigeria to its foundation. Here is where the story gets very specific and very telling. During or around that UK visit, the Nigerian government announced a staggering deal. A £747 million agreement with the United Kingdom to rehabilitate the Lagos ports, specifically the Apapa port and the Tinkan Island port. On the surface you might think, okay, that sounds like infrastructure investment, that sounds like development, that sounds like Nigeria moving forward. But the moment you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, especially from the perspective of the southeast, the picture becomes very different and very disturbing. Think about it this way. Nigeria just committed close to 1 trillion naira in value to fix ports in Lagos. Meanwhile, the southeast, a region with massive coastal and river access, a region that sits strategically along waterways that could serve international shipping, a region that has been screaming for port development for decades, is being left completely out of the conversation. Not one kobo of that deal touches the southeast. Not one paragraph of that agreement mentions Igbo land. And that is not a small thing. That is a statement. Whether it was intended or not, it sends a message. And that message, loud and clear, is this: you do not matter enough to be included. The OHANAEZE Youth Council, the youth wing of the Apex Igbo socio-cultural organization, did not take this lying down. They came out publicly to condemn the deal in the strongest possible terms. Their argument was straightforward and difficult to dismiss.
If you are watching for the first time, please kindly subscribe to this channel with the past information back to back. Kindly subscribe to our only YouTube channel, Okute Daily Talk 2. Or you can follow us on Okute Daily Talk blog, that is on Facebook. And ODT_backup page, that is Okute, also our page too. Go to TikTok, we have Okute Daily Talk blog as well. Please follow us on all our social media handles. With the past information, we'll get ahead. Nobody one, we'll not get ahead.
They said the Nigerian government deliberately ignored viable seaport locations in Igbo areas, locations that have been identified, studied, and recommended by experts for years. They pointed out that there are strategic waterway corridors in the southeast that, if properly developed, would not only serve the Igbo people, but would benefit the entire eastern corridor of Nigeria and even neighboring countries like Cameroon. But none of that mattered when the government was writing the check. Lagos got the billions. The southeast got silence. And then the OHANAEZE Youth Council said something even more pointed, something that should be read as a direct warning rather than political theatre. Let's hear from our team of professional analysts as they thoroughly analyze this news update.
Something powerful is moving in the invisible.
Thank you for having me and my colleagues of analysts in your program as we thoroughly analyze this news update. The OHANAEZE Youth Council said that if the federal government continues to neglect infrastructure in the southeast, it will directly fuel separatist agitation. It will give oxygen to the Biafra movement. It will hand IPOB a recruitment tool more powerful than any propaganda campaign. And honestly, when you look at the pattern, it is hard to argue with that logic. Now let us talk about IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra, and why this matters so much in this context. IPOB under Nnamdi Kanu has been the most controversial and most visible separatist movement in Nigeria in recent memory. Since 2015, they have been agitating, mobilizing, disrupting, and broadcasting their message to the world. The Nigerian government has declared them a terrorist organization. Kanu has been in DSS detention since 2021 after he was extradited from Kenya under circumstances that are still disputed. His case is ongoing in court, dragging through a legal system that moves at the pace of a tired tortoise. And yet, despite all of this, despite the military operations in the southeast, despite the sit-at-home orders that have crippled commerce and daily life in Igbo states for years, the movement has not died. If anything, the sentiment that drives it, the anger, the feeling of exclusion, the sense that Igbo people are second-class citizens in the country their fathers helped build, has only grown stronger. And this is the part that political commentators are now linking directly to the Tinubu UK deal. They are saying very clearly that this is not just about ports, it is about a pattern. It is about a consistent, decades-long pattern of federal investment flowing in every direction except toward the southeast. It is about roads in the east that remain death traps, while highways in the north and southwest receive billions in maintenance. It is about airports in the southeast that operate below capacity because the runways are not upgraded to handle international flights.
Okay, let me just pause for a while. I am sorry, my people, because something just came to my mind. I ended a friendship of over 18 years ago. Yes, today, this afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this afternoon. What happened? I was a kind of making an argument with the guy. I'm just trying to bring some points from what OHANAEZE Ndigbo is trying to tell the Fulani government. I was trying to make an argument with one so-called, he said he's an APC stakeholder. About what is happening in Biafra land. My brother, this guy opened his mouth and said something that shocked me. That what he was expecting on the case of Martin Nnamdi Kanu is that Martin Nnamdi Kanu should be sentenced to death, or rather sentenced to die by hanging. I asked a very simple question to him. Okay, you are APC what do you call it, a stakeholder? He said yes. I was living here in Asia with him, not until he went back some couple of I think 3 years ago. I said, okay, so it is good for APC to be pardoning criminals, bandits and terrorists, and integrating them into the military. You don't see anything bad there. You only see anything bad that Martin Nnamdi Kanu was not sentenced to die by hanging. Do you know what this guy told me? The guy said I should bring a proof that the government is pardoning criminals. My brother, I nearly shed tears. What thing that come out from my mouth before I should end that relationship, the call, and I blocked him for life. I asked him, I said, how do we get here? These are the Tartans who have joined the Tinubu's government to be talking nonsense about the Igbos. Imagine somebody from Imo State, the same state that all Jews, Hope Uzodinma came out and said that insecurity in East, whether in Enugu, whether in Imo State, whether in Osu, whether in Okigwe, whether in Mbano, anywhere as long as it is concerned, said it have nothing to do with IPOB or Biafrans. It have nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu or ESN. Uzodinma have made these comments not once, not twice, more than 3 times. this same idiot opened his mouth to tell me that Nnamdi Kanu deserves spying. But it is good for him, for them to pardon this. And I know that this guy, it's like, what? Okay, now I remember what happened, because Daniel Bala said that your brain is working 365 days in a year. It stopped working each time you join. Anytime you just decided to join APC. That's exactly what happened. I cut off that call. I ended everything that I had to do with that young man. He's from my state, Imo State. I ended everything. 18 years of friendship, I ended it. He's also a business partner. I ended it. Exactly what this guy is saying. Tinubu went to London to sign whatever thing they signed, so that the UK go to deploy, or rather, go to deport criminals from other countries. The same deal, what they call him, this Rwanda that signed. This deal has been offered to Afghanistan, even Iraq, and they refused it. But I made Tinubu went and accepted it, because they promised to borrow him £700 million to establish that money only in Lagos. This my brother from the southeast, too. And I asked him, where is the thing that you people hold hand that yes, this is what Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised you guys that he's going to do to the people of South before you people begin to support him? One thing about these people is that it's like arguing with somebody. To argue with APC members or staff or party members, it's just like arguing with a woman who is in love. Nothing you tell that woman where she go listen. It's just like arguing with the Odogunwoke that have erected a penny. My brother, whatever you say, if you never do what's in there in mind and that penny never come down, he can never agree with you. It's just like arguing with a man or woman who is defending their church, their pastor, or their Christianity or their religion. They will never say anything meaningful to you other than they shut you up. Nothing like empirical evidence they're going to provide to you. Anyone you provide to them, what they will end up telling you, it is AI. That's exactly what they will tell you. You get the point now? So, we are good to follow Bola Ahmed Tinubu for Separatist movement. He went and secured a loan of over £700 million. Also to put the whole money in Lagos State. No any other state was mentioned. Only Lagos State takes that money. And then, my brothers are jumping up and down, singing, on their mandate they shall fall. The message is just a few minutes to go. So let me just allow you to listen to the rest of the message, and then we'll round up.
It is about industrial parks that were promised and never built. It is about the Onitsha-Asaba Expressway saga that has dragged on for more years than most of us care to count. It is about the Enugu airport upgrade that keeps being announced and then quietly forgotten. This is not paranoia. This is a documented, verifiable, statistical reality. And when you add the human security dimension, the picture becomes even darker. The Southeast today is living under a kind of dual terror. On one hand, there is the Monday sit-at-home phenomenon, which was originally called by IPOB as a form of protest, but has now been hijacked by criminal elements who use violence and threats to enforce it. Markets close, schools shut down, banks remain locked, businesses lose money every single week. On the other hand, there are military operations, police checkpoints, and security crackdowns that residents say have created a climate of fear rather than a climate of safety. Young Igbo men living in the southeast feel trapped between two forces, neither of which seems to have their well-being at heart.
So when an insider comes out and says that Igbo people are declaring they are no longer part of Nigeria, that they are rallying around Nnamdi Kanu as a symbol of their identity and aspiration, it is not coming from thin air. It is coming from this accumulated weight of grievance. It is coming from a generation of Igbo youth who look at their fathers and grandfathers who fought in the Civil War, who lost everything, who are reintegrated into Nigeria with the famous "No victor, no vanquished" speech, and who then watched as the promises of that reintegration slowly evaporated over the following 50 years. Some political commentators have been very vocal about the historical context here. They remind us that the wounds of the Nigerian Civil War, which ended in 1970, have never fully healed. That war killed between 1 and 3 million people, many of them from starvation, and it left the Igbo people stripped of their savings through the famous 20 pounds policy, stripped of their properties in the north during the pogroms that preceded the war, and returned to a country where they had to start again from almost nothing.
And they said that is the end of Solomon Grandi. They recount about ordeals the Biafrans have been passed through, and then we have some charlatans and Mumu who says that if you not stand on their mandate, say you go fall. But God be the glory. The Biafran government, the Biafran state, the Biafran nation have stand on the ground, no shaking. Not even tornado is going to shake us. So we are moving forward. But at the end, all glory and honor shall be given to Chukwu Okiabiama, who made it possible for we to be, for we to be alive to witness the coming of Biafra. So have a nice day, my people. There's not much time for we to read comments. I will say, okay, let me go to the comment section, but there's no much time. So let us just end it here. If you have anything to say, please comment below at the comment section of this video. We are going to read your comments, and if possible, we are also going to reply you when the time is right. So have a nice day. Please follow us on our social media handles, subscribe, like.